Hi, my name is Rina. I'm a founder to a brand called Natugee, where we help women to get healthy and radiant skin with just 3 simple steps. So today is a bit special because it is March, where we celebrated International Women's Day. And for the first time today, I would like to share with all of you on why I started Natugee. So it is a bit painful for me to share these stories actually, and I never been telling people about these stories, through camera like this. So it's a bit painful because I have to recall some memories which I hope that I can forget. Back in 2013, I actually lived in the UK for about 3 to 4 years. So when I was in the UK, it was actually, I wasn't into any of natural lifestyle yet. I was a fully housewife. My husband actually a full-time student in the UK. So back then we had children, and as you know, for now I have 5 children. So most of my children actually, I was having them in the UK. In the UK, I actually got into a really bad depression. Okay, it was like maybe during that time it was a lot of a mixture of reasons, but when I recall back, one of the reasons might be because I was having too much stress of handling my kids during that time. It's because I also feel alone. I don't have like a family support in the UK, and the weather doesn't help. And you know, the changing of lifestyle from KL, where you have everything open 24/7. You know, but then when you move to the UK, you don't have any family members around, you don't have maid to help you. It's actually taking a toll on me, because before I went to the UK, I was actually working. I even have my own business, fashion business at that time. So I had to stop everything and I have to follow my husband to the UK. And what happened was my second child was actually a bit special at that time, because when I got pregnant with her, Sarah, my number 2, I got a lot of stress, and because my husband was away for the whole year, and I was actually handling a project where we actually need to build a home. So I was exposed with a lot of toxic chemicals at that time. And I didn't know all this, okay? Ignorance was really a bliss. So I didn't know all of this. I just thought that maybe I was tired and all that. So what happened was, to be honest, I had a beautiful, gentle birth. And when my daughter was out during that time, she was all red. And I remember one of the nurse called her like, "Hey, your daughter looks like red like lobster." And the doctor was a bit worried because he thought that the baby got jaundice and all that. But alhamdulillah, everything turned out well. So what happened was, when my daughter got into 6 months old, that's when all the nightmares started. So when she started to be 6 months old, she started to have fever like non-stop, like repeatedly. And during that time, I know when your baby is like less than 1 year old, the doctor wouldn't give you any medicine for the fever and all that. So you're trying to be, to find a way. I was so desperate during that time to find a way to help my daughter to reduce her fever. And she had this problem where she did not have, she couldn't sleep at night. So she will always wake up at night crying, and it's like persistently goes on until when she is like 2 years old. So can you imagine that? Like That is when I first started to do a bit of research on natural lifestyle. I started to know about homeopathy and started to know about essential oils. That was the beginning, because I found out when I tried all this natural alternative for my daughter, it has helped her and it helps me as well. But little that I know that it's actually accumulated, the stress accumulated. So when I was in the UK, even though I enjoyed living there, my mood was like on and off, was really, really bad. My hormonal imbalance. During that time, I didn't even know I had hormonal imbalance. It was really, really bad. I would cry out of sudden, and sometimes when my daughter cried, I remember that because I was all alone at home. My husband was away in school. When my daughter cried, I remember I couldn't cope, and I just let her cry. I just let her cry. You know, I didn't go to my daughter, I didn't hug her. To be honest, it was really, really painful for me, because my husband didn't even know this, right? I think now by watching this video, he would know all this happened at home, because I didn't call anyone, I didn't get any help during that time. It was really bad. It was really, really bad. So what happened after that, I got my third child, and then I got my fourth child. You didn't handle the stress because you did not get help from anyone during that time. And you keep on actually using products that can also make your hormone imbalance. I didn't know anything during that time. I didn't know anything at that time. What happened was, when I had my fourth child, when I got to know that I was pregnant, I didn't tell my husband during that time. It was 2 weeks old. And I remember that during that time, I had the symptoms that I usually get when I was pregnant. This is, something that I was like, what? I thought we're going to stop at number 3, and suddenly I got to know that I'm pregnant again. And what happened was, when I remember that I went to Boots. We were doing some grocery shopping, and I slowly went to the pharmacy and got the pregnancy test. And when I tested it at home, when I got to know that I was pregnant again, and it says that 2 weeks. 2 weeks. There's a pregnancy test that can give you when exactly that you're actually pregnant. My heart, I remember during that time, was like shattered. Like, I remember in the toilet, I was like, I'm pregnant again. I didn't tell my husband during that time. So what happened? I actually had this one friend there, and I told her that actually I said, look, I just got to know that I'm pregnant again, and I don't think so I want to tell my husband. And then she said, so what do you want to do? And she said, I don't know, I don't think so I can cope. And she said, in the UK, they actually have a facilities that being fully paid by NHS to abort. So at that moment, I remembered, I told my husband that I had to had some appointment outside. So I asked him to take care of the children. And during that time, my number 3, the baby Suri was 8 months old. So I drove to this facility. I couldn't remember, but it's actually for abortion. And when I went there, there was a lot of women actually, and I actually did some research. And they said that if you take this pill less than few weeks, you can actually get it aborted instantly. In my thought during that time, great. My husband got an off day on Thursday, I remember. So I just made an appointment to go. I just take that pill and everything will be sorted. I remember I went there, And when I had the consultancy with the nurse, or I'm not sure is it midwife or nurse or the consultant there, and then I said, look, I feel that this is not the right time. I really want this. I really don't want to do this. So I've read that when I take this pill, within 4 hours, everything will just come out as like a period, and everything will be, like I can just go back after that, and my husband wouldn't know that. So what happened that then the nurse started to ask me questions like, okay, are you breastfeeding? And I was breastfeeding during that time because my baby was like 8 months old. I said yes. And they said, oh, so if you take this pill, you cannot breastfeed for 48 hours. And I was like a bit shocked because how can it be? Because like my baby like is fully on breastfeed. She never took any bottle, and I think my husband would be very suspicious if I don't want to breastfeed for 48 hours. So I was asking the nurse like, is there any other way? Because I don't think that's an option, because I don't have any reserve, and my baby doesn't take any formula at that time. And then she said, oh, what you can do is you can do DNC. DNC is a process where they need to do, they need to do a bit of scope and remove it out of you. But it also will take about 1 day. But you can't do it today because we have to book you for that operation, some sort of small operation. And then I said, okay, great. So I think I'm going to go for that, because she said you have to lie down in the hospital. If everything is okay, then you can just drive, or maybe you can just take a cab back home. I said, okay, I'm going to do that. So let's just book an appointment next week. So what happened was, when the time comes, I'm supposed to have that DNC on Wednesday, but on Tuesday, my baby during that time was having high fever. So I could not sleep the whole night, because nursing her. And because of that, I forgot about that appointment. I supposed to have that appointment at 10 o'clock in the morning, but at 9:30, someone called home, and then my husband was actually downstairs. I was actually upstairs, and he picked up the call. And I forgot that actually I was supposed to have an appointment at 10 o'clock. The person that called home during that time was actually the nurse from the facility. So she called my husband, and my husband picked up the phone call without knowing anything. And the nurse was asking him like, hi, can I speak to Miss Rina? Is she coming today? We just want to confirm if she's coming today. And then my husband was like, oh, yes, what is it about? And she said like, oh, she had an appointment with us. It's a DNC appointment. Can you confirm whether she's coming? And then my husband was like, okay, I will let my wife call you back. I remember I was like, going down the stairs, and suddenly my husband was, telling me, like, oh, you had a phone call. You had a phone call. It was nurse from the facility asking whether you want to come at 10 o'clock appointment. At that moment, I was like, I was so speechless. I didn't say anything. And then my husband was saying to me, hey, I know this is your body, but if you want to ask me, I would like you to keep it. And then he just went out of the door. After that, I just broke down. There's a brick like on my head, like hitting on me, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You don't even talk to your husband about this. You don't talk to anyone. What are you doing? Why do you want to do this? After that, I started to reach out to actually 2 of my friends, and I know if one of my friends saw this, she basically know who she is. And I am thankful for that. I'm grateful for her during that time. because she's not judgmental at all. She's not the type of people who say that, oh, you should go and pray and ask help. Of course, that's one of the things that we do. But when you are in really bad depression, that is not something that you want to hear. So she said, like, you need to go and find and talk to someone and let it out of your chest, and then decide whether you want to go through this or not. After that, I actually met with this homeopath, which is like, for me, she's like a godmother, where she is so gentle, and she prescribed me a homeopathy pill actually, and she did say that everything happens for a reason, so maybe you should take a step back and try to think whether you want to go through this or not. And ever since that moment, I start to do, like, it's maybe because of the homeopathy pill that I took as well, and maybe because of prayers, I don't know, I'm not sure, maybe from my husband, maybe from my friend, I decided to open up, and I decided to actually went through with the pregnancy, and that is when my life changed. Why do I say that when my life changed? I started to do research on why I am behaving like that, behaving like the way that I behave, why my mood is always off, why I'm always feeling like this. And I got to know that it's a lot of other factors. And I started to join the natural community in the UK, where I learned to actually change my lifestyle bit by bit. And that's where I actually see a lot of improvement in my life, especially in my moods, in my hormones and all that. So after I changed my lifestyle, I slowly changed, the way I eat, the products that I use. After that, I started to DIY all my products that I use at home. For example, like my shampoo, my body wash and all those things. So when I got back to KL for good in end of 2015, when I moved back for good, I have to find all these natural products for me. When I went to the pharmacy in KL, there's a section, if you go to the pharmacies now, any pharmacies, there's a section says there's natural products. So in the UK, I have been exposed on how to read labels. So every time I buy something, I usually will read labels. And when I went to that section, I want to get the products, the natural products for my daily use. And when I look at the ingredients, it's all greenwashing products. You know what is greenwashing products? Greenwashing product means it's like it's been labeled as natural, but it's actually loaded with a lot of synthetics and toxic chemicals, okay? Basically, go and look at the ingredients, you would know that some of the natural products that claim to be a natural is not even natural at all. I remember during that time I was so frustrated, and then I keep on DIY my products. I got my ingredients, raw materials from the UK still. It was very expensive. It's really expensive. And I started to tell my husband, wow, I said that it's so hard to find natural products here in Malaysia during that time, in Kuala Lumpur. So what happened was, because of that, I started to open up Natugee in 2016, but it was not as what it is right now. Back then, it was actually a mother and a baby product. So I have a magnesium body butter, I have a detox salt, and it's basically something to help people to de-stress, because it is very important for us women to actually have a balance and a balanced lifestyle. And also previously, by using all those synthetic chemicals products, it will actually disrupt your hormones. So I've learned that, and I know that. So because of that, I try to come up with all these natural products that will help mothers to distress. After that, what happened was, it's still hard for me to find a good skincare products. So when in 2017, where we rebranded Natugee to what it is right now, I've decided to actually come out with skincare products, because at the end of the day, it's so hard to find a natural skincare that can also actually give results. So I enrolled myself in a diploma of organic skincare in the UK, just to learn more about ingredients, about how to do formulations, and about how to have an effective products that can be natural and in the same time give results to your skin as well. Because as you know, you buy products outside, there's a lot of products, but not every products can actually give results. And actually the one that actually give results to your skin are the actives. So it's a process, it's a journey for me, and that is one of the reason on why I started my brand. In the same time, when I started to produce a line, my mother was having a very bad hyperpigmentation issues or problem around the cheek areas, because she loved to try products. Okay, so every time she heard this products is good, this products for whitening, for lightening, she loves to try it. So what happened when she stopped try all those kind of products, it makes the condition worse. So she told me, like, can you help me with my issues, because at that time it was bad, and she had a very low self-esteem at that point. I also had some pigmentation problem at my cheeks area due to my pregnancy. So that is why I am producing an anti-aging line to help women who had the similar issues, because I have tested it myself, and my mother also has tested it. And if you can see, one of the testimonial is actually my own mother. The reason I'm sharing all these stories actually is because I just want to share with women out there, like, if you are having a dark moment right now in your life, like you're having some issues with your spouse, you're having issues with work, and you feel all alone, try to reach out, because there's always light at the end of the tunnel. I came out of it, and I know that you can also go through this. So one of my personal mission is actually to help and empower and also inspire women out there, because I understand that we women, we always love to do a lot of things. We care about other people more than ourselves. Okay, with this video, I just want to remind all the ladies out there, all the women out there, please at least try to prioritize yourself as well. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't be taking care of your family well. So you can't, you can't give out love to other people if you don't fill your love tank first. These stories is actually, as I say, it's very hard for me to share. So I just hope that if you are in a dark moment right now, take one step at a time, okay? Try to find friends or try to reach out to someone. Don't take it all by yourself, and because I know it can be really hard to talk maybe to your spouse, you know, you maybe talk to someone that would be understand. And ladies, if you have a friend that try to reaching out to you, you know, trying to tell them their problems, be a good listener and try not to be judgmental, because whenever that we try to be judgmental on others, it doesn't help the situation. And you know, like queens fix each other crown. That's what I want to share with everyone.